Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Noise and welcome back to Regrowth. In the last episode, we did some stuff. We made a blast furnace and this bloomery furnace, and we started getting into wrought iron, and today we are going to continue along with that and start getting some steel. We also made some other machines, and I don't remember what else, but today we have a lot of stuff to do. Typically I have a lot of things up here ready to do, but ready to craft and whatnot, but today is gonna be a little bit different. So first things first, I was looking through here and I noticed that we have some new quests. We are finally unlocking Thaumcraft, which means that once we get a little bit into Thaumcraft, I can automate this farm to an extent. My plan is to have golems who run around up here on each floor and put stuff into a chest, probably like over here. So that's going to give me a constant supply of basically everything I'll need, and we can kind of go from there. I wanted to come up here, so I've been working a little bit on kind of planning what I want on each floor, and whenever I get a 10-10-10 crop, I put it up here. So I have wheat, carrot, potatoes. I don't think I showed this off last episode. I had to put some water up here. I didn't think of that, but once we get the sprinkler system going, I won't need to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and put the irrigation channels and let those start working. And I built another floor, and I came up here and I did pumpkins and melons. I'm not going to need like too many of these, so I did something like this, and then sugarcane and cactus. I did something similar. In fact, I'm going to harvest the sugarcane. I'm not going to need a lot of cactus because, well, right-clicking these gives you cactus green and not cactus blocks, so that's not exactly the best. But the sugarcane I'm going to need quite a bit of, and as you can see, the sprinklers are working. They should be reaching all of these plants, and they should all be growing faster. In fact, let's see. I need more earth. I know that. So let's see just how fast. So I'm going to harvest the earth. Let's see. We should have 64. There we go. And this should go a lot faster with these sprinklers growing, and they're already 10-10-10, so that's good enough. Water is not getting to that one. Oh, I just didn't have enough water. Alright, well, that's fine. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Eventually we'll pump water into there, and everything will be a little bit better. Emeralds I'm still working on, and I started doing infused shard seeds because we're going to need some shards today. But since we're over here, let's go ahead and get some flowers and then even set up the next wave. I've also started growing mushrooms, and I've set up these signs to kind of tell me what's on each floor, and this is kind of what I plan on having. So the shards are going to go up on floor 3. 4 is going to be a lot of stuff I don't have quite yet. So basically I'm just, as I build stuff and as I fill things in, I'm going to try to put things where I think they should go. But as you can see, we have magenta, orange, green, black, and light blue flowers. So let's turn this quest in. And that's going to give us another quest. So we need purple, cyan, lime, and gray. So purple, let's just do mystical. So purple is magenta and blue. Cyan is green and blue. Lime is probably white and green. Yes, and then gray is white and black. So I'm gonna need white, blue, and green. but how am I gonna need these? So we'll probably have to, let's just break all these. Let's just throw some of this stuff. I can't throw those in there. Can throw the seeds, but I don't want to do that. So let's throw seeds in here. I know I'm gonna need green. I'm going to need blue. Do I need magenta? Yes. So magenta and blue. I'm gonna need black. And let's see if we can grab any more. You know, just for the time being, let's throw some flower petals. You know what, let's just throw these on the ground. For the time being, we're gonna grab the seeds. And we'll kind of go from there. So let's... The cactus seeds, I don't think these are 10-10-10s. So those go in there. I wish I could throw cactus green in there. I have so much cactus green, it's kind of ridiculous. So we have 2 sets of reds. I'm going to throw one in here. And let's just throw some more flower petals in here for the time being. So we need to get... Alright, let's look one more time. So purple, cyan, lime, and gray. Purple is magenta and blue. Cyan is blue and green. Lime is green and white, and then gray is black and white. So if we do white here, for example, gray, so we don't need these. Honestly, I'm gonna put these away. Do I have 2? No, I only have 1 mycelium. So let's actually get some dirt. We're gonna grow some more mycelium. So white and black will give us gray. White and green will give us lime. And then green and blue will give us cyan. And then blue and magenta will give us purple. So blue and magenta. So I'll let those grow, do their things. Looks like we got all of these things grew. Let's throw red in here. Let's grab all the petals. And yeah, so let's go get some stuff done. Food is no longer going to be an issue. I have plenty of bread now. And as you can see, I've completed another island. We'll go take a look at that in just a second. Let's put that there. Dirt is the other thing I have. And then the rest goes down below. So I have a place for the green. Petals go in here because right now I don't really need them. And then flowers go in here. Alright, so we have things to do. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here, and I managed to get glintweed. Finally. This took forever, for the record. I've also been growing trees, and I was trying to get more mutandis, and rather than doing the cauldron all the time, I started just doing the, because I have so much cactus green, I started doing the cactus green, wood ash, and bone meal and mandrake. It doesn't give you as much, but I was getting a lot of wood ash, not bone meal. I was getting a lot of the wood ash from burning saplings to get all these different fumes, I guess they are. Let's put the shears back because we're not going to need them anytime soon. And as soon as we get more mycelium, we'll check that at the end of the episode. If we get some more mycelium, we're going to grow... we're going to try to get the Vishroom seeds. But no, first thing I want to do, let's turn in the quest. See if that unlocked anything. Let's get that sapling. Why not? And we can throw mushrooms in there. And that unlocked the Poppet quest. We'll get to Poppets at a later date. Poppets are fun. Poppets are going to be very necessary for a couple of things that we're going to want to do, but for the time being, I don't need to do much with them right now. So next thing I want to do is we need to build a blast furnace, and we need to get some steel. So the blast furnace is very similar to the coke oven. In fact, I'm going to put it right over here. So it's a 3x3 structure, but it's 4 tall. So we're going to put a torch there so nothing spawns. Nothing should spawn. But it's a 4 tall structure. And it took a little bit to make all this stuff, but it wasn't too bad. Then we just do that. And here we are. So wrought iron goes in there, and we're going to put coal coke. So the only 2 things you can put in the bottom of a blast furnace is coal coke and charcoal. So you can look steel. There's also an infernal blast furnace, which I believe is Thaumcraft. But yeah, you can put other things, but the main 2 sources are either coal coke or charcoal. You cannot put coal. But this is going to take a little bit to get some steel. We have 2 extra blocks, which I'm going to throw in here, sure. And while we're waiting on that, we're going to do some other stuff. So once we get steel, we can melt it down in here, and we'll get a new pickaxe. I don't know if I can replace the parts. That's something we'll have to look into. If I can, great. If not, then we'll deal. But let's see what else. So I have quite a few things to do. I think the next thing I want to do is I want to start making a couple things. So first things first, we need to make a mana lens, which we've done this before. It's not that difficult. Make a mana lens, and then we need some shards. Doesn't matter which ones. Let's just do the waters, because that's the one I did. And something like this will give us a thermometer. Thermometer is I think what people call it. That should be a quest, yes. So we're going to get a lot of shard essence for that, and some reputation. That is just the beginning. This is going to be very important. Right now we can't do too much, but we can look at a few things. I know we can get grass. No, not yet. Arbor is pretty far along. Can I get... I don't think I can get this cobblestone. I think it has to be normal cobblestone. But eventually we'll be able to look at a lot of different things, and hopefully we'll be able to get Thaumcraft aspects research pretty quickly. Most of that I'm going to do off camera. A lot of Thaumcraft I'm going to do off camera just because a lot of it is kind of grindy. But the next thing we need to do is we need to make 2 iron caps. And it probably wants us to make a iron cap wooden one. So we got to run down here. Let's throw iron in here. And do I have any sticks? I don't. Let's make a handful of sticks. And we should have our first steel ingot. But let's go ahead and make the wand. I have a feeling that it's going to want us to make the... Oh no, that's it. So we're going to get some iron for that. And so the main thing you need to do... doesn't say. We need to make a Thaumonomicon. That's going to be a big thing, and we should be able to make that by using a wand on a bookshelf. But I think you can change that. I don't know. Let's find out. We have some wood. We have plenty of wood. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And we need books. Actually, I have books. I've been getting books like all game. So let's see if this works. I don't know that it wouldn't, but let's go ahead and do it. So we just put the bookshelf right there, right click it, and we get the Thaumonomicon. Alright, so it does work. That's probably a quest later on. Oh, it's a quest right here. Thaumonomicon. So we're going to get our books back and some experience drops, and it's basically telling you what the Thaumonomicon does. And by the way, we have another set of quests that's not unlocked yet, but it's Blood Magic. Blood Magic is going to get its own island because the altar for that is crazy large. So we'll have to make a island for that just in itself. Let's throw experience in here and iron in here. And now we need, actually I need the iron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I made a whole bunch of, I smelted down a whole bunch of iron. I was running a little bit low, so we have plenty of iron now. But we need to make a cauldron, and let's just set the cauldron down, and we right click it, and we get a crucible. So this is like one of the main elements of Thaumcraft is a crucible. So that is that quest. Cool. We don't have anything else yet. Once we do some research in the Thaumonomicon, we need to do a little bit more to do research. So with Thaumcraft, to do research you need a table, and the table takes great wood. We don't have great wood yet. In fact, I don't even know how to make great wood. I bet if we looked, it might say. So, oh, well, we're not going to make great wood, we're going to make great wood saplings. So let's see how how do you make a great wood sapling? So it requires this Trephid seed, and we need Mutandis extremis. So we're fairly close to that. We might try to make that actually this episode. What's in here? That stuff. I need another chest or something. You know what? Let's use this one. And we're just going to put all, for the time being, we're going to put all of the Thaumcraft stuff in here. Not the water cans, but the wand will go in there. Let's put the water cans in there. Alright, now we should have some steel. I put 5 in just because it made sense to me. Make some extra. So we now have steel. Let's claim that reward. And we've unlocked 3 more quests. So fire away. We need nether rutile ore. We've needed that for a while, so we can make rutile seeds. That is something. What's it say? So I like to process more titanium. Yes, we need to make titanium. We also need to make steel tanks. Oh, that's going to be fun. And liquid fuel boiler, industrial steam engine, and high pressure boiler tank. So this all takes steel. So we'll probably get into that more later. I mean, we have a little bit of steel, but we need to melt 1 down in here. I can do that, right? Like 650 degrees, I think. We should be able to. If we can get seared stone, because you can actually put multiple things into the smeltery, we should be able to make all of it. See if we can find something that's titanium. We need hotter. Iron gear is 700. If we can smelt iron, we should be able to smelt steel down. We'll see if that works. The rest of the steel I'm going to put in here for the time being. And the wrought iron, why not? Let's throw the shards in here. Let's see if we have, while we're waiting for the steel, let's see if we have anything going in here. Alright, we have the mycelium, that's good. Alright, so 3 mycelium, we're going to just put this over here. And we need to grow mushrooms. So let's take this one. Why not? Actually, I don't want that. Let's just get the red mushroom seeds. And I have brown mushroom seeds as well. And this is how you get the Visroom. So you just do this and this. And I do want to make sure, or Visroom, I'm not sure how. Yeah, okay, grows on mycelium with brown and red. So once those grow, we'll put the crop sticks like we normally do, and we'll be good. So I have the mushroom now. Let's go back over here. There's a few more things that we're going to want to do relatively soon. And now that we have another island to build on, we can go ahead and do that. So let's get some mana pools. I would like some sparks, I think. Do I want sparks? For the time being, we're not going to do any sparks, but we do need some mana. So let's come down here and grab a tablet. And relatively soon, we're going to set up this area to be a little bit more Botania friendly. So my idea is I'm going to have, back in this corner, we're going to have our infusion crafting with Thaumcraft, so that we can easily put skulls underneath to make that better. This side is going to be all witchery. We're going to need a bit of room for that. And then this corner right here will be Botania. Duh. So let's go, nope, Alphamancy. And let's visualize. So we want this like right here. Right? No. Let's put it center with this torch. Why not? So that looks good. And we'll have some mana production like over here. And I'm kind of playing this by ear. We might not put the infusion stuff over there. But we have this big basement. This is where a lot of our Thaumcraft, maybe some witchery stuff we'll put down here. We'll have like some of the stuff up here and then maybe some down below. That might be better. I don't know. We'll figure things out. But we need to build this guy. So let's put some mana pools down. And I want to wander the forest. So let's throw like that in there for just a little bit. While we're waiting, let's do some living wood. I wish I could just click, but we can't, so we gotta build up. We need the glimmering. Let's get that. That's about half. Yep. Alright, so then this, can throw that in there and just take the rest. So let's get the glimmering, living wood. The Elven Gateway right here. Now we're going to want to do something a little bit special with this. So, is that empty? Alright. So before we build all of this, and more importantly, before we finish it, we're going to want to do a little bit of trickery with this. So with the Elven Portal, this will stay open permanently unless you move or break this block, and then the portal closes. So actually, do we want it like that? We have to have it that way. Never mind. I was gonna try to move it one block, like one block down, but then we'd have to have the mana pools in the ground, and I don't want that, actually. So the nature pylons go on top, and the structure's complete. So before we make the structure completely, I want to make something. I want to make, so we come down here, we'll grab a piece of iron, because I don't think I have one lying around. We need 3 wood. We want a piston. And specifically, we want a sticky piston. So we're going to need some cactus or slime balls. I don't know if I have any more slime balls. Doesn't look like it. Stone and then a lever. So I need a stick. Alright, so we make the lever. We'll make the piston. And we'll want another lever actually. So let's grab that. Let's throw this in here. So basically what I want to do is I want to be able to move the elven core. We'll get some redstone. We're gonna have to do this basically like basic 8 basic design. Oops, wrong thing. Is our steel melted? It is. Let's get a new pickaxe head. So steel is much better than the alamite that we have. Alright, doesn't look like I can replace. So let's grab mana steel, tool rod. We need some binding. Obsidian binding would be cool, I think. I don't have. Let's get some gold. I think I need 2 pieces of gold. And let's see if we have any obsidian. If not, we'll do something else. But let's get some gold in here so that we can make tool binding. Let's get a stick, or do I have? Let's get a stick. And make this tool binding, and then we can cast it, and hopefully I have enough obsidian. I think I want to make it out of obsidian. I really haven't put too much thought in this, to be honest, but we'll make a new tool. But no, what I want to do with the elven core, because I'm getting distracted, we're gonna make a very basic redstone setup to move the elven core. Alright, cool. So we have that. Now let's see if we have any obsidian. We can make an obsidian. Unfortunately, we're gonna get like extra, so we might go ahead and make 2 of these. Let's see, do I have blocks? Alright, so let's just keep 1 in our bar. Last thing I need is cactus, so let's get this melted down. That's going to take a little bit of time, but we'll have a new pickaxe very soon. We're going to need emeralds, and we're going to need more gold in a little bit, but let's go ahead and deal with the elven core. So I need a single thing of cactus. I should probably harvest some cactus soon. And I believe it's cactus. Yes. Cactus gives a slime ball. And then we just make a sticky piston. And I almost tried to jump that. It looks deceptive because it looks like you could jump it, but so let's. Alright. That is what I want. I was gonna do like fancy stuff, but let's just do a lever right here. Redstone going into it, and so now we can. Did they fix that? Maybe that's been fixed. This was I guess a cheaty way. I hope I can. I hope I can break this. Let's just find out. All right, cool. This was like a cheaty way to not have to do that. So let's just put a lever right here. No, it doesn't work anymore. Alright, never mind. I believe if you break any of the blocks, can we move... Let's see if we can move living wood. We'll do it from back... do it from back here, rather. I don't know that it has to be the core, but I think it does. Alright, so we can move that at least. Let's see what the Lexa Britannia says about this. Further, okay, so I don't know if it says, yeah, so one of the things it does say is it does take more mana to open it than to maintain it, but if you do most of your trading like immediately, then it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and open this portal, and that is the portal to Alfheim. So it's draining a good bit of mana, and then we just have to throw our book in, and we'll get it back, and we'll have a nice message from the elves. Oops. I don't know. And then we have all the resources and like their magical stuff with bees, ritual Gaia, some lore, and just talking about the relics that are in Britannia. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff like all throughout. So anything that's green is from the elves. So let's see, what does it want us to do now? It doesn't want us to do anything. We're getting a whole bunch of stuff, and honestly, all of this stuff is going in. So we're gonna get Elementum, Pixie Dust, and Dragonstone, which we need 10 Elementium, so we need a little bit more Mana Steel. Let's go ahead and do this. Skystone and Dreamwood. So is this how you get Skystone? So how do we get Skystone? We throw in Living Rock. Alright, so that's not too bad. Is the obsidian done? It is. Let's get the obsidian out. And let's get a couple things from down here. So we want to get some stone. We want some iron. Let's get 2 blocks. That should be enough for now. We're also going to want some living wood. Let's get, like, how much does it want us to get? 16? Yeah, I think that's a good number. So living wood turns into dream wood. And it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And so we're going to need some more cobblestone. I'm going to smelt just a stack of cobblestone. So let's get some more earth and fire. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna smelt this up. I need these guys, and so let's go ahead and get these guys planted. So I could do this over the new place, but I'm not gonna worry about it quite yet. I'll probably set most of that off camera, just because it's going to be a lot of planning and kind of placing things where I want them. But let's throw, I have plenty of bread. Let's throw all that in there. Let's get some more bindings. Let's make our new pickaxe while we're kind of waiting for this stuff to happen. So steel, mana steel, and obsidian. Gives us a nice new pick. We can put this one up here. It's retired for the time being. I don't really have anything else to do, so we're gonna just kind of go with this all. Let's get some more living rock, because I can at least start getting skystone. And let's get this stuff, and then we throw 2 blocks. I think we get a single block back. So Mana Steel into Elementium, and Mana Pearls into Pixie Dust, and Mana Diamonds into Dragonstone. Dragonstone is going to be very important because it is how we get, once we find it, Attune Stones. And Attune Stones are very important to Witchery. Also going to give us a lot of different things otherwise. So Dreamwood, let's go ahead and throw... Why do I have 12? I need more. Once this switches, we're gonna get... we're gonna just take those, because I could use some living wood and just in general. So we need a silky jewel, which is silky cloth, so we need 4 ingots of gold and a bunch of string. Do I have much? I have some in here. We're gonna have to get more cotton. I want more, so let's just get like half a stack of Dreamwood, because that's super useful stuff. Most of the stuff from the elves are really useful. We're getting close to kind of the top tier stuff with Botania. We still have a ways to go, but we're getting closer. So let's throw half a stack of living wood in. And this will take a minute, but we'll get half a stack of Dreamwood back. So there's that. We just need Skystone now. Skystone is going to be super important once we can get Certus Quartz. And I believe to get Certus Quartz you have to do a lot of the machine quests. But once we get that, then we can start making better stuff. Let's split this up a little bit. I need one more piece of coal down here. Let's get some more coal. I have plenty of it. So let's just get a whole bunch. Fill up these with coal, and 22, there we go, 24, that's going to be 3 sets. That might be enough for the quest, so if it is, that's what we're going to do. If not, we'll worry about it in a little bit. But let's go back inside. Let's see if we can't get a silky jewel, because I would like silk touch on my pick. I don't have enough spider essence yet. Take all but one, and let's just make it all string. Yeah, we're not gonna have quite enough, so I don't think we're gonna do the quest to get the next the ores. We're gonna wait on that, I think. So I'll put this stuff into a chest up here to do. Once I get the string, then we'll make silk touch, and we'll have better luck with the nether ores. We'll go back to the nether in the next episode. We'll probably work around the base a little bit with witchery. We'll probably get into that a little bit more, because we're gonna need to progress a little bit farther in witchery in order to get the greatwood saplings. So we have half a stack. Let's go ahead and throw half a stack in here. We're gonna get half of that back in Skystone. How are we doing on mana? Not too bad. Is that enough for the quest? It is, and we're gonna get some Alf glass as well. And that's unlocking a lot of stuff. So we can move more mana with an Elven mana spreader. That's going to give us more mana tablets, which is gonna be good. And then we're gonna want some Elementium armor, which is really good stuff. And then a Terra Blade. The Terra Blade, I believe, is a bit of a pain to get. But actually, it's not too bad. It's just 2 Terra Steel. We might already have that. But that is a pain just because Terra Steel is a pain to make. Takes so much mana. So we'll probably worry about that once we get the Britannia area a little bit more set up. Let's just make a whole bunch of bindings. Why not? We'll put that in there, and we'll put all of these bindings in there. So we're gonna get the rest of this out of Skystone. I'll do the last set probably off camera because I'll probably do a little bit of Living Rock production. I'm not sure if in this mod pack there's an easy way to automate it. I'm sure there is, but it is a pain because you have to break blocks. I know one of the easiest ways that I've done in the past to deal with Living Rock and Living Wood is Steve's Factory Manager. It's a great mod for that because it just makes it so easy to do anything with it. Let's see, let's get these going. Might as well do some stuff while waiting for stuff to finish and whatnot. So let's take a look at the quest book. See what all we have. So we have some more quests in the mana. Nothing in the first 2 sections yet. World Teaches is still the Immortal. So we need to make titanium. We're going to have to make some titanium, so we're going to need rutile ore. Hopefully we'll be able to get that in the next episode. Steel is higher than thaumium, but I don't believe it's the highest. I think that's manulin, but we should be able to make that once we get cobalt and ardite. Liquid fuel, high pressure, and the industrial. So let's just get rid of all of this because we've done it all. So industrial, steam engines take steel plates, so that's going to be a lot of steel. So I'll make a good bit of steel off camera. The liquid boiler probably is more. Yep, steel plates, and then the high pressure. Before we made a low pressure, high pressure is steel as well. Yep, kind of figured. The steel tanks are going to be about the same. Let's see, we have a lot of stuff in here to do. We might do a little bit of that before we call the episode. Just kind of miscellaneous crafting. But let's get all of this living rock. We'll get all of this into the portal and get some Certus Quartz, or get some Skystone. And honestly, once we make the rest, we probably won't need to make any more Skystone. At least we shouldn't. I don't know how useful it is in this mod pack. There is a lot of recipe changes, so it could be very useful, but I don't know. Let's just throw this in there. We'll get half a stack. Awesome. And then let's see if this works. So, alright, it does still work. So, you can't push the Elven Gateway core, but you can push a block of Living Wood. And it's mostly just to conserve, because unless I need it, I'm not going to keep this on and waste mana. And honestly, eventually what I'll have is I'll have some sparks here. I'll probably have mana production like here, and then the Terra Steel. Actually, I'll probably do Terra Steel here, and then mana production over in this area, and then maybe a bank of mana pools here-ish. But I don't know. I'll figure that out. Maybe we'll do this stuff underneath, kind of in this corner. We'll do like floating pure daisies. So you can make all the flowers float, and it's all the same, I believe. So you just need dirt, pasture seed, and then let's floating pure daisy. So you need just a floating flower, which you need a glimmering flower, which is just some glowstone, and then the flower. So I'll probably make my 4 pure daisies floating and set up a way down here, because a floating flower can be planted on any block, because it is floating on dirt. It's also not washed away by water or anything like that, so it's better in general. We are going to have to open up the portal again at some point, because we're going to need some more elementium to make that armor. And honestly, I'm probably going to get a couple stacks of elementium, just because it makes sense. I have the resources. The biggest thing is getting the mana to open it. So I'll probably farm some resources, farm some wood, get some stone, and just basically get a couple stacks of all the stuff that I can get from this. We have a lot of diamond essence. We have 524, so I'll probably get a stack of diamonds and get a stack of dragon stones. Let's see. Oh, I can start breeding these. So hopefully those work. We have those are mature. Hopefully those work. Everything's coming along. So let's kind of finish looking. What do we have to do? So we have more seeds to make. Once we get the ores from the nether, we'll be able to do that a little bit easier. And coding, we'll get into this stuff later. I'm not really feeling it right now. Bees we'll do back here once I clear this area out and get all the magic stuff moved over. And then the fish stuff will be down there, probably at the dock. I still need to make a little dock area, and we'll do all that stuff there, because that makes sense to me as well. Put the fish near the water. So we've unlocked a lot of other things. So we can get cinder pearls and shimmer leaf. I believe those, though, are a little bit different to get. So I can't actually see how to make them. I need to do research to do that. So how the world grows. Most of this we've seen. We can now make tombstones, and then I want to start getting into the Mutandis Extremis here soon. That's going to open up Greatwood for us. The way the world feels, we've completed everything there, and then the world bleeds we don't have unlocked. So let's, while we have just a little bit more time, I know this episode goes long. Honestly, I'm having a lot of fun with this mod pack, and I just want to do as much as I can. Let's get some of this stuff done. So let's come in here and we're going to make some stuff. Let's just go down below because that's where most of my stuff is. And let's start from this. So we need a work table. Work table is made. Let's take a look. So it's a book, a crafting table, and a chest. So we're going to need some wood. We need 1, 2, 3, 2, and then we need a book. So workbench is like this. Book. Oh, we need to make a chest real quick. So the work table, I've never really used this. It's from forestry. Basically, if we put it down, it stores 9 recipes that you've crafted last in its like internal inventory, and so you can make stuff very quickly if you already have made it in the past. That's not going to be terribly useful for us because here soon I hope to get to the applied energistics stuff, so that would not be useful at all. Basic simulsex trans. Let's just look up basic. Yeah, there we go. This thing, I have no idea what it is, and I have no idea what it does. 4 iron and an ender pearl. Do we have an ender pearl down here? No. Let's get the 4 iron. So 1, 2, 3, 4. and a stick. Ender pearls are not difficult, so let's just go up and I should have some essence of ender. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, let's go ahead and craft this. I have no idea what this does or if it's any use to me at this point, but we crafted it. We're going to get a bunch of limestone. This is going to be good for later. They allow to build a material out of a line nice and rapidly, greatly aiding in construction efforts. So I guess it's kind of similar to a cool like thing, but let's just see. Let's do something like here, and we do something like that. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's similar to a building one, but it's better for like bridges. That's actually really cool. That's pretty useful. Probably not going to use it, but it's useful. It's a neat little tool. So let's throw that in there, and let's see what else. So we got the reward. Let's make a void bag. So void bag is probably pretty easy. Do we have, is it going to take string? It takes string and wool. So actually we're going to wait on that. Just because I don't have string and wool. Is there another way to make it though? Let's see. Nope. So yeah, it takes 4 string, which we do have 4 string, but we don't have the wool. So we'll come back to that later. Let's see what else. We have waypoint compass. Let's see if this is anything. So it's a compass, so it's iron, redstone, and some gold. So I do have the gold, have the iron, and redstone. Alright, so this will be pretty easy. So there's a compass, and then we just covered it in gold, and there we go. So is that it? Alright, we're going to get a bunch of maps and some more compasses. So do these stack? No, they don't. Alright, so let's throw all this stuff in here, because I don't really plan on using that. And let's do one more. Let's do the seeds storage. How bad is that? So this is kind of my plan. I'm going to do this basically every episode. We need 2 chests. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need something like that. And then what was it? Iron? Yeah, single piece of iron. So this is, like I said, this is my plan. What we'll do is I will do the episode like normal. We'll do most of the main stuff in the episode, and then at the end of the episode, we'll do like a handful of these crafting quests and kind of go from there. So seed storage, easy way to store seeds, but since I'm only going to be keeping the 10-10-10s, I don't really care. So I don't think that opened up anything else. Doesn't look like it. We're really close to finishing a lot of these sections, but we still have a few sections that aren't even open yet. So we need to get to work. I think in the next episode, the main thing I want to focus on, like I said, is witchery. I'm gonna move a lot of the Britannia stuff over here between episodes, and same with the witchery stuff. Actually, I move a lot of this stuff. Once we get the attuned stones, which, like I said, it's the dragon stones, those are gonna let us make a bunch of stuff. So distilleries, which are really important, candelabras, kettles, chalices, all stuff to power up altars. Well, the candelabra and the chalice power up altars. Kettles and distilleries are really important. Spinning wheels are really important. So it's just going to have a lot of stuff that we're going to need to work on and get finished. So yeah, I am going to do a little bit of work off camera. Like I said, I'm going to farm some stuff for Hey, we got 1, 2, 3 of them. Wow. So I'm going to work on a bunch of stuff off camera, just getting this set up a little bit better, and getting produce a bunch of steel and get living wood, living rock, mana steel, get a lot of mana steel, a lot of mana diamonds, mana pearls. Basically, I'm going to drain this, and I'll probably drain this with the mana tablets, and we're going to move everything over there to that new island and go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!